What's up guys, it's Joel of Punishers Paintball. Today we are bringing you a comparison video between the HK Army Shocker Amp as well as the very new and hot Dye DSR Plus. Both of these guns have some really great features and come in right around the same price point. So with that said, we're going to get into the comparison. If you guys like this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you guys after the intro. Alright guys, so this is a comparison between two of the most hottest items on the market right now. We have the HK Army Shocker Amp on my right as well as the Dye DSR Plus on my left. These come in right around the same price point. The HK Shocker Amp for base colors, you're looking at $1,199.99 or $1,200. There are some splash options offered by HK Army. Those are going to come in at $1,350. And then over here on the left, I have the Dye DSR Plus, which is going to retail at $1,000. And they do have currently two PGA colors, the PGA Slick, as well as the PGA Blackout Copper, that are going to come in right around $1,100. So with that said, the Dye DSR Plus is a little bit cheaper than the HK Shocker Amp right off the bat, price point wise. So with that said, the next thing that we're going to get into is the actual guns. The first thing that I'd like to mention is that the packaging between the two are very similar. I'm going to use the DSR Plus case first. When you open this up, you're going to have your two-piece core barrel as well as some Allen keys, an unmarked I should say an unmarked barrel cover. It's not even dye. The DSR Plus does come with this really nice quick start guide. So as you can see here, you're going to have a lot of the bells and whistles to get your gun up as well as to maintain your gun. It does have this really nice bolt guide here, or I should say O-ring guide for all the different O-ring sizes. You have your warranty card that comes with every marker when you purchase it brand new. And then on the other side here, you have some Dye Slick Lube, which is basically just a Dow 33. You're going to get a quarter, I believe it's a quarter of an ounce with the DSR Plus. You're going to get this cable. So if you ever have to update any type of firmware to DSR Plus, if there's any type of regulation changes when it comes to rate of fire or firing mode with differences in leaks, you're also going to get your parts kit, and last but not least, a 9-volt battery, which does not come in the gun. You actually have to put it in the marker after you're all said and done there. So that's what comes with the DSR Plus. It actually also has this sleeve that you can put on the outside, but basically usually what happens with that is it gets torn or whatever the case may be and becomes useless. Alright, so the case for the HK Shocker Amp, I'd like to mention that the coloring is different. So you're going to get the nice carbon fiber texture. It's not obviously carbon fiber, it's just like an outer liner. And then it has a gold zipper, whereas the regular Shocker Amp, the stock Shocker Amp, I believe, is a blue, as well as a silver zipper. So that's a nice little touch from HK. You're going to get your quick start guide with this. I believe it is different. So it actually does say HK Army, so it is particular to the HK Army marker. As you can see there, the diagram is different. It's not just your Shocker Amp regular basic diagram. You get a branded barrel cover. It's a little niche of mine. If you're spending $1,000, you should at least get a nice barrel cover, not some really cheap one that comes with the DSR Plus. Alright, next up we have a full Allen key set from Shocker. This is a really nice Allen key set. I know that some people have been sounding off in the comments saying that they do rust. I have noticed that. It is kind of a quirk of mine that unfortunately I don't understand why they can't just invest a few more dollars and get a really nice Allen key set. You get a 1 ounce of Dow 33 lube to maintain your bolt and your regulator and all that good stuff. The parts kit on the Shocker Amp, if I can get it out here, is roughly about the same as the Dye DSR Plus. Some screws and all that good stuff. You do get an extra reg seat, a bunch of different O-rings and all that stuff, but unfortunately there's no label, so it's impossible to determine what you need, or it's basically like you have to eye it. Whereas with the DSR Plus on that quick start guide, you do actually get every individual size so that you can actually compare your O-ring to the quick start guide and make sure they have the right O-ring if you need to replace one of your O-rings. I'm just checking here to make sure real quick that it's not in this quick start guide, which it is not. All right, on the other side here, this would be the placement of your actual marker. Has a nice little HK emblem there, and that's about it. So now that we've covered the cases, let's actually get into the markers. So we're going to cover a lot of different things here. First thing I like to mention is the barrel system between the two. So with the HK Army Shocker Amp, you are going to get the Freak XL barrel system, which is probably one of the most popular barrel systems out of anything on the market. You're going to get one barrel insert. It used to come with a 687, but for some reason Shocker is now putting 689 inserts with their Freak barrels straight from the factory. And overall barrel system on this is very good. If you want extra bore inserts, you can actually purchase the full aluminum bore master kit, which is going to run you right around 125 bucks, I believe. And then if you just want to purchase individual inserts, they're going to be 15 bucks a piece. So you can have a full barrel kit for roughly about 45 to 60 bucks. You know, 3 or 4 extra bore inserts is usually what I recommend. 689, 684 is very popular with us. And then, like, you know, a smaller bore, because most of the paint nowadays is smaller. Now, DSR Plus is going to come with the very popular UL barrel system. I know that it's core. It says core, but basically that's the barrel back. The barrel tip is a UL barrel tip, and the back is compatible with that. So if you have old UL tips that you want to pair with this core back, it is the same threads. And vice versa. If you have old UL backs and you want to compare, or if you want to match the tip with the old UL backs, you can do that, which is really nice. It is auto cocker thread. It's going to be 14. Both of these barrel systems are going to be 14 inches. Overall, which one's going to take it for me? I have to say the Freak XL barrel system is going to take it for me between these two, simply because the backs for these can be really expensive and they're difficult to locate, whereas the inserts for these are readily available and very easy to purchase. So for that reason alone, if you were to compare just this barrel system versus that barrel system, if I had to pick one without having to purchase extra inserts, I'd probably actually pick the core barrel or the UL barrel. I'm a big fan of the porting of the UL barrel system. Makes a lot of markers quieter, and definitely this marker is very quiet. All right, so next up we're going to move on to the Feedneck. The Feedneck on this is going to be the new and improved Feedneck from the regular Dye DSR, but they don't have a twist knob. So this is a really nice aluminum Feedneck. It does have this nice lever. It's all aluminum. It's very nice. Over here with the Shocker amp, HK Shocker amp, excuse me, you do have this contoured cut lever, which is a little bit smaller. I do like that, and the big thing for me that's going to make this the winner again is the fact that this does have a twist knob, so if you have to adjust it, that's very nice. Next up, we're going to move on to the foregrip area. So the foregrip on this is different. The HK Shocker amp is different. As you can see here, it's much thicker. I'd like to show you the front here as well, if you guys can see that. There's a lot more aluminum in the front, so when you actually feel this in the hands, it's a little bit thicker. That was my biggest complaint with the regular Shocker amp, and this feels extremely good in the hands. It just contours very well to hand placement, for especially somebody with larger hands. It does have a lot of space in between, so you can definitely wrap it around like that. I know that was one of Keegan's biggest things in the past was that. Overall, very good. Your regulator assembly is going to be in the front with the Shocker amp and is relatively easy to maintenance. Foregrip on the DSR Plus is going to be rubber. It is going to be plastic, and your 9 volt goes up front. There is a lever right here that you have to turn 90 degrees, or excuse me, 180 degrees to unlock it to put your 9-volt in. It is relatively difficult the first few times to be able to twist that 100%. I'm actually going to take my keys to be able to do it just to show you guys. Once you get it started, it's a lot easier. All right, so there you guys have it. It's now 90 degrees. This is going to pull forward, and as you can see there, that's the placement of your 9-volt. So the DSR Plus does have toolless 9-volt exchange abilities, whereas the shocker amp, the HK shocker amp, takes a 9-volt, but it is not toolless. Moving on, we're now going to talk about the trigger on both these. These are different triggers. So the trigger on the HK shocker amp is a little bit different. As you can see here, it has a little bit more edge, a little bit more aluminum here. Extremely good in the hands, very comfortable. The trigger guard is much larger on the shocker amp compared to the DSR Plus. I'm going to show you guys here in comparison. I'm going to match both of these up. And as you can see here, you've probably got roughly about half an inch worth more of space, which for me is a big thing. It's one of my biggest quirks with the DSR Plus. Trigger on this feels excellent. It is very simple to remove this trigger as well as adjust all the presets. The trigger on the DSR Plus, the new Edge 2 trigger specifically for the DSR Plus, is different than the regular DSR. It was designed in basically mindset of the competition shooter. It's a flat face trigger with a 2-stage. Overall, I really like this trigger. I like how it feels a lot. It feels similar to me as a deuce trigger, even like the deuce trigger of the M3 Plus. I really like it. My biggest quirk with the DSR Plus trigger frame is that it is very small, so I find myself hitting my fingers on that. That's so if you're somebody with larger hands or you really like to get your fingers going when you're shooting, you're gonna find yourself hitting that trigger guard. Next up, let's talk about ASAs. So the DSR Plus does have a larger ASA lever here. It's much easier to engage because it does sit flush, whereas the old one did not. It definitely noticeably different once they actually get in your hands. That is nice. And then your regulator assembly is right here in line. Very simple to adjust your velocity. The ASA on the HK shocker amp is going to be this lever style, very similar to the Lux. All you're going to do is just pull down and then snap it up to engage. Overall, ASA can't really argue that the HK shocker amp wins that. Next up, electronics. The shocker has probably one of the most intuitive board settings of any high-end marker out there right now. You're going to pull the trigger, you're going to turn the gun on, you're going to be able to cycle through everything. It's very, very simple. Any of the bells and whistles that you're going to want to be able to change is going to be there, but there's not going to be a lot of extra stuff, and your quick start guide, you're going to be able to do that. Dye DSR Plus, there is a joystick on the bottom. It is still a joystick, very similar to the M3 Plus. It can be a little confusing, but overall not too bad. It has a LED light so you can determine whether your eyes are on or not. The one thing that I like about the electronics of the DSR Plus is that there is audible noise. That's my biggest quirk with the shocker amp, the HK shocker amp, is that you cannot tell when your gun is on or off. It bothers me quite a bit, but overall, you know, it's a minor thing when you think about it, but for me, I like being able to turn my gun on and know when it's on by hearing that audible noise, especially in the middle of a tournament or something like that. Next up, let's talk about bolts. So the Arc Plus bolt of the DSR Plus is new and improved. They actually removed the O-ring from the regular DSR. I'm gonna remove it here first. Can be a little bit tricky to push that button and pull out. It also comes with the flex face bolt, 4th gen eye pipe, which is nice. We'll talk about eyes here in a second. But overall, very simple to maintain. There's only one O-ring on the bolt, so I'll show you guys that here real quick. And it does have the Flex Flow can, which comes factory. The Dye DSR did not have these extra features that now just come stock with the DSR Plus. As you can see there, there's only one O-ring. The DSR Plus, or the DSR, had two. So overall, what have we found with the DSR Plus? It does shoot very consistent. I've seen a lot of guys using this in cold weather. It's shot very good for them. It handles brittle paint very well. and overall very good bolt system. The amp core on the shocker amp, nothing has changed as far as the HK version of this. Very simple to maintain this as well. You're just going to unscrew here. There's 3 O-rings on the bolt. And that's the majority of it. You can take this off and maintenance your spool, but for the most part, you really don't have to do that very frequently. This all goes back together, and this screws back into the gun. You have to make sure that this lines up. That is a little bit of a quirk on the shocker amp. You have to make sure that the bottom portion matches up. You have the HK emblem on the back. Overall, nice little touch right there. It does have a snatch grip as well, so it makes it a little bit easier. If you're an old school kind of guy and you want to hold it like this, you can hold your shocker amp like that, which is a nice touch too. Overall, the milling on the HK shocker amp is definitely better than the DSR Plus. The DSR Plus does have the SFR adjustment. On the right side, you can take the grip off here and you can be able to adjust that, which is nice. I really like that about that. So if you want to snap here or a smoother shot, you can definitely do that with the DSR Plus. Let's talk about eyes. So DSR Plus, you cannot access your eyes easily without taking the trigger frame off and all that stuff. The idea behind it is that you don't have to. There is a 4th gen eye pipe with the DSR Plus that's included. You're just going to pull that out, and the idea there is that this eye pipe protects your eyes from any paint because there's actually a physical barrier that the eyes see through to be able to engage your eyes. Few quirks about this. One, the eye pipe can crack. The other quirk about it is that if you're just dry firing your marker with your barrel off, the barrel actually holds the eye pipe completely into place, so you can actually shoot the eye pipe out. I've seen people do it. I've done it myself. But overall, I think it is a really cool concept. From a functionality standpoint, it seems to work really well. The other thing too is if you screw your barrel in too hard, it can also crack it. So you just got to be careful. But if you're cognizant of what you're doing and you buy an extra 1 or 2 that you carry in your case, eye pipe wise, you know, it's really not that big of a deal. And I really like the concept. Now, one nice feature besides the ASA on the HK shocker amp is that it does have the Lux style eye covers. So as you can see there, it's magnetically engaged. So it's basically, or actually, excuse me, it's not magnetically engaged. It uses a latch mechanism. As you can see how quick and easy it was to access your eyes here. So if you have chopped paint and you need to clean that out, it's very simple to remove your eye cover with the HK shocker amp. And then all you do is take your front lever right there. That pops back into place, and boom, there you have it. You're ready to go and clean that. Last thing I'd like to mention is common bells and whistles between the two. Like I kind of mentioned before and touched on, this does have toolless. This does have toolless battery exchange, whereas the HK shocker amp still does not. I wish HK had done something with the shocker amp when it came to some type of snap screws in here or something so that you could easily change your 9-volt out. One thing that I really do like about the HK shocker amp, or just the shocker amp in general, is that it uses the prong mechanism instead of the wire harness for your 9 volts, so you don't run the risk of a wire harness, whereas this one does have a wire harness. So it can be very simple to break eye wire harness. I actually have a personal friend of mine that doesn't like the eye wire harness, or excuse me, the battery harness, to the point that he actually almost debated on not getting one because he had so many issues with his battery harness on his regular DSR Plus. But overall, I think the DSR Plus, that is a major game changer for me between the two. So let's talk about shot, guys. I'm going to throw up a few shooting videos of the HK shocker amp. And now we have the DSR Plus. Man, that shoots really good too. So both these guns shoot really good. I think that there's definitely probably 2 of the best shooting guns on the market, including all the high-end markers. But it really does come into the question, which one do you like more? I personally like the DSR Plus. The way that the DSR Plus shoots is just so smooth. It's very reliable. I've not seen a DSR Plus go down yet, and they just shoot phenomenal. Their sound signature on them is probably the quietest gun that is out right now, and it shoots very smooth. The HK Shocker amp is a second runner-up as far as overall shot quality and sound signature. They both handle paint extremely well. They're both extremely reliable. The only other thing that I like to mention between the shot of the two is that the Shocker amp is going to be more efficient. We did a DSR Plus efficiency video, which got it right around 1,400 shots on a 7745. The HK Shocker amp is going to be right around 1,800 shots on that same fill. So if you're a person that you need that extra shots, the Shocker amp is definitely has one up when it comes to that. Overall, though, between the two, shot-wise, I am picking the DSR Plus. Alrighty, so we have, now that we have all the features and everything laid out, I have to pick a winner between the two. I'm going to probably pick the DSR Plus overall. DSR Plus has better features than the HK Shocker amp. It's $200 cheaper. You're looking at a base color here, which is going to be $1,200. The DSR Plus here is going to be $1,000. If I'm going to pick one of the two, I'm going to pick this. The shot quality is good. The sound signature is quieter than the Shocker amp. And then last but not least, the 9-volt battery is a big game changer for me. I think that overall in the hands, I like the feel of the HK Shocker amp more. And if this had some way to change your battery out without having to use Allen keys, I would probably pick the HK Shocker amp because it is a really good shot as well. But the fact that this is $200 cheaper and that you can change your battery out without any tools is a game changer for me, and that's why the DSR Plus takes it for me. So there you guys have it. That is a comparison video between the HK Shocker amp, the Dye DSR Plus. Both these are available at punisherspb.com. I hope you enjoyed this comparison video. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave it in the comment section. We'll see you guys next time.